Geeta lives in Gantiali village of Rajasthan's Jodhpur district. She is 9 years old. Like thousands of other girls across India, her day starts early with a load of chores. She begins by bathing her infant brother. She then feeds the goats, cleans their pen. And after that she collects firewood and dung to keep the fire burning to cook a meal for her family. Her parents are daily wage labourers in neighbouring fields.
इतन कहीं बात केवे
ना मैं क्या काम किया
और कहीं केवे
काम किया कर बाहर में जाया करके
और कहीं केवे
घर में वालों काम किया कर थारे थार घर में रमिया कर बाहर मत जाया करके
हंसनो करनो कहीं केवे सब घरों काम मैं कर लेऊं तो तू कहीं करती
स्कूल जाती
स्कूल जान पच कहीं करती
स्कूल जाए पच काम कर लेती
कहीं बनने थारी इच्छा होती
मार फूस बारी बनाना है
पढ़र पच थारी कहीं बनने इच्छा होती
ओ इया मार तो बहन
Geeta used to go to school, but only until her brother was old enough to attend one himself. Her brother enjoys the privileges of an education, better food and better clothes to wear. Geeta reconciles herself to a life restricted to the home. Like thousands of little girls, Geeta is a victim of a society that idolizes sons. For it's the boy that carries forward the family lineage, supports his parents in their old age, and finally lights the funeral pyre of his parents. He is also viewed as a breadwinner who will toil in the fields to earn an income and fetch a hefty dowry when he gets married. The girl child, on the other hand, is viewed as a liability. She is raised only to be given away to another family in marriage. And getting her married implies heavy expenses and a dowry. To put it simply, incomes and expenses don't balance in the case of the girl child. So, for no fault of her own, the girl child is denied healthcare and education and confined to the house doing chores that her parents believe will stand her in good stead in the years to come.
आज तो वजह यही है, वो कहते हैं कि क्या लड़कियों को पढ़ा करके और सर्विस तो करानी है नहीं, और जात चुका ये मतलब चूल्हा चौका ये घर का ही काम करना है।
कोई छोरी वाले पूछूं थे स्कूल जाओ, स्कूल मन जाने नहीं देवे करा, क्यों नहीं जाने दे कि जाओ थी मोटी छोरियों और मास्टर है भाई छोरा ही है मोटा मोटा तो अब बेइज्जती हो जाओ नहीं जाओ नाक बढ़ा दो थे।
औरतों को मतलब एक पुरुष लोग अपना एंटरटेनमेंट का एक सिर्फ साधन मानते हैं, इसीलिए वो लोग लड़कियों को तवज्जो नहीं देते हैं। उनका मानना है कि लड़कियां तो दूसरे यहाँ चली जाती हैं और जो लड़के हैं वही हमारे समाज को, हमारे परिवार को, हमारे वंश को आगे बढ़ाते हैं।
पता नहीं कहाँ कहाँ जाएगी या मर्दों के साथ रहेगी, फिर हमारे परिवार वालों की ऐसी देखभाल नहीं रहेगी।
अगर हम कहते हैं कि हम पढ़ेंगे तो हमारे गांव में तक स्कूल है, इसलिए हम पढ़ भी नहीं सकते, और दूसरे गांव में जाते हैं तो माँ बाप नहीं कहते तो क्या हुआ, पड़ोसी भी कहते हैं दूसरे गांव में जाने से क्या फ़ायदा है, तो माँ बाप भी कहते हैं अगर तुम दूसरे गांव में जाओगे कहीं कुछ हो गया तो हमारा बदनाम।
Rajasthan's attitude to the girl child is archaic. This is not the case in every state of India. Kerala, Karnataka and West Bengal, for instance, have better sociological indicators for girls. The fundamental rights enshrined in the Constitution of India guarantee equality to girls or boys and equal opportunities in education and vocations. Article 14 and 15 of the Constitution of India prohibit discrimination on the basis of sex apart from religion, race, caste or place of birth. Article 15(3) allows the state to make any special provisions for the welfare of the girl child.
See, if anybody's fundamental rights have been violated, they can go to a court of law and ask for enforcement of those rights. There are various protections within our judicial system to ensure that anyone whose rights have been violated can get relief from a court of law.
Added protection is afforded in the Constitution through the directive principles of state policy, which safeguard the childhood rights of girls in India. Article 39 directs the state to ensure that children are provided a healthy and sustainable environment to develop with dignity. Article 45 directs the state to provide free and compulsory education for all children below 14 years of age. Article 46 mandates the protection of education and economic interests of the weaker sections of the people, thus protecting them from social injustice and all forms of exploitation.
Directive principles of state policy are also, it's a section in the Constitution which provides for certain rights, and there is an obligation on the state to try to provide these rights to the citizens and to the state in their various states.
But law can't change the way people feel. The desire for a male child is very strong, sometimes so strong that girl children never see the light of day. The introduction of amniocentesis provided a macabre machine to those who weren't wishing to have female children. Amniocentesis was meant to determine defects in the unborn child. Instead, it was used to determine the sex of a baby. A large percent of medical practitioners converted sex determination into a lucrative business, even justifying it by claiming that they were helping in population control. Unfortunately, it was only the population of the girl child that was being controlled and restricted. She became the casualty. A Maharashtra government survey of 1984 stated that 7,999 out of 8,000 abortions were conducted after sex determination tests. The fetuses aborted were all female.
In the 1991 census, we had found that in the 0 to 6 age group, the figures were 945 female to 1,000 male. But this time, when the census reports came to us in 2001, we found that there were 927 to 1,000. And this in itself is proof of the fact that something is happening to the girl fetus.
Prenatal Diagnostic Techniques, Regulation and Prevention of Misuse Act was enforced in 1996. Under this act, determining the sex of a fetus became a crime. Doctors, mothers and relatives were now liable to pay fines ranging from Rs 10,000 to Rs 50,000, and jail terms ranged between 3 to 5 years.
When the law is there, the law is on paper. Not many people know about the law, and those who know about the law violate the law. There is no monitoring of the law to see that hospitals, doctors are actually carrying it out. At the same time, the common people are governed by their old traditional laws. Some of them don't even know that there is an alternative law. So, awareness of the existing new laws and monitoring of the laws is very important. Otherwise, there will be continuous violation of these practices.
While urban India prefers high-tech ultrasound for pre-birth sex determination, rural folk do something more basic. Tagu Devi lives in Barmer district of Rajasthan. She is a midwife or dai who explains how newly born girls are done away with. A bundle of soil is pressed hard on the infant's face, thereby causing suffocation and death. The murder is passed off as a death due to natural causes.
पूरा काम मिट्टी ये तरीके हम बस हमारे रखे बस मर जा बस मर जा ना अमल दे कोई धूड़ मारे कोई अमल मारे पोट के शुरू पर रखे जो मर जाए
लड़की जलमाता जना स्नान करा देता, बड़े घरों में लड़की बोलता होती जन उन स्नान करा देता, स्नान कर जन पानी में डूब जाता तो सासा सिरता, वे उपरांत नहीं होती तो अमल दे देता।
Female infanticide is practiced in a variety of ways. A survey conducted by Aditi, an NGO based in the Sitamarhi district of the central Indian state of Bihar, unearthed some startling results.
फीमेल इन्फेंटिसाइड का जो स्टडी अदिति ने किया था 7 जिलों में किया गया था, जिसके आधार पर ये पाया गया था करीब 16 लाख लड़कियों की, बच्चियों की हत्या 1 साल में की गई थी।
कहते हैं कि जो ख़त्म कर दो, नून खिया दो, रुई मुंह में घुसा दो, ये चीज़ कर दो, वो चीज़ कर दो, तो हम लोग पैसा के चलते कर।
Sheila and her mother-in-law Ganga Devi are the local midwives here. They claim that they have helped deliver several hundred babies, many of whose spines they have snapped simply because they were born girls.
बातें के बातें हम घनेरो मार ले छी, हम ये न कर के जब एगो दूगो मार ले छी, हम घनेरो मार ले छी।
This is despite the fact that female infanticide was banned by the British over 130 years ago. Yet, the practice continues unabated despite the fact that the government has come up with alternatives for the unwanted girl child.
In order to avoid this sort of a killing, there are some states who have started what is called a palna, a cradle they have put, and in the cradle come and leave the child, we'll take care of the child. And there are other incentives also some state governments have given for the birth of the female child. They will give some incentive until they grow to the age of 18, the age of majority and all that, for education, for so many things.
The girl child who makes it past the womb and into the world presents another set of problems to her parents. They feel burdened by the responsibility to protect her honor, which they feel is linked to her marital prospects. The lives of young girls are often marred by sexual abuse and rape. Violated and scarred physically, mentally and emotionally at an early age, they often carry the trauma for the rest of their lives.
पूर फाड़ दिया, बेइज्जती कर दी, छोरी रोटी खाई कहानी 3-4 दिन पड़ी रही, कुट्टी मारी, मुक्काई मारिया, छोरिया रहे पूर दूर सब फाड़ दिन दिया, दिक्कत तो ही हो।
Though her parents in a rare case did report the case to the police the next day and a medical examination was carried out, their undoing was a lack of evidence.
If an unfortunate thing like this ever happens, the first thing and the minute any responsible adult comes to know about it, the first thing that should be done is the child should be rushed to a nearby hospital or a clinic and a complete medical checkup should be done. The child should not be given a bath because there may be some vital evidence that could get washed away. Even the clothes of the child should not be washed. They would also form a part of the vital evidence. And then of course simultaneously they must file an FIR. Sometimes the child may be able to identify who did it, sometimes not, but the first thing is to also go and immediately file an FIR. Once they have done that, if they need any legal aid, there are many women's organizations who are also, they could approach. There are a lot of, in fact now a lot of NGOs and governmental women's organizations, they are spread out very well. So they could even go to them for assistance and they would help, or even in the police itself, there are separate cells and women would be there who would guide them.
They should approach police very fast and before they should secure for the evidences must not be damaged and they should not delay in approaching the police. Then they should praise the police to be fast on that, and they can also on the side by side they can also approach higher authorities like State Women Commission or SC/ST Commission, which can actually fasten the procedure actually.
Section 375 and 376 of the Indian Penal Code provides a sentence between 7 and 10 years for rape along with a fine. If the child is under 12 years of age, this term is extended by 2 years.
Most of the children in India suffer because that superstitious belief, many of the fellows, they who have certain diseases, sexual diseases, so they have a superstitious belief that they can get over it if they rape a virgin, a small child. The younger the child, the better.
कानूनों की बात है, उसमें ये है कि लोगों की मानसिकता बदलने की जरूरत है। कागजों में कानून बनने से क्या है, जब तक मानसिकता चेंज नहीं होगी तो कानून बहुत सारे बन जाए।
If rape is considered difficult and humiliating to prove in court, in cases of child sexual abuse, redressal of grievances is practically impossible. To put it simply, child sexual abuse occurs when a sexual act of, say, petting, fondling, kissing, and verbal sexual abuse is committed on a child by an adult. And unfortunately, there is no specific legislation in India which deals with this abuse. All such cases are dealt with under a subsection of rape laws and termed unnatural sexual offences.
Till date, we do not have any special law on child sexual abuse. And yet we know that child harassment and abuse is increasing. So, for the past 2-3 years, in the context of rape and domestic violence, this special area of child sexual abuse has been taken up by several organizations. And they have been now working on preparing a law that would deal with child sexual abuse. And look at the question of child sexual abuse, which would not merely mean rape, but other forms of sexual harassment that may be brought onto a girl child.
And while a law is being put together to tackle individual cases of child sexual abuse legally, it continues to thrive commercially in what is referred to as the world's oldest profession, prostitution. The younger and prettier, the higher the price they fetch.
There are several means by which procurement takes place. In most cases, today if you go to the red light area, you will find that most of them have been brought when they were 12 years old, 16 years old, 10 years old, 8 years old. They are brought under the guise of either marrying them. You see, we don't have a law which prevents child marriage, we have a law, Child Marriage Restraint Act, but it is on paper. So either it is through the purposes of marriage, or it is a kidnap, or it is a sale by the parents who need the money because of poverty, or it is in the guise of getting a job, a domestic work in a city. So these are various means by which children are procured. Women, young girls, adolescents are procured, brought to the cities and then pushed into the red light areas.
Article 23 of the Constitution prohibits trafficking of girl children. The Immoral Traffic Prevention Act of 1986 sets the punishment for inducing minors or children into prostitution at life imprisonment.
With regard to rehabilitation, there is no specific law, and yet there are provisions for observation homes, short stay homes, Nari Niketans, which the government sets up in order to bring and keep women and girls who have been rescued out of the red light areas. Now, once there is a raid in an area and the police carries out the raid, after that the victim, I would call the person the victim, but the person who has been rescued out because of the raid is then brought to the Nari Niketan. After that, the person is produced in court, and then the court can say where the person will go, whether the person has to be rehabilitated in her own hometown, or whether the hometown is not willing to take the child or the woman, then she is left in the Nari Niketan till any further possibility is available.
The improvement in the status of the girl child is linked to the spread of education and awareness. And NGOs the country over are launching programs which go beyond literacy to teach the girl child of her rights. One such institution in the Bikaner district of Rajasthan is Urmul.
जैसे ये किशोरी बालिकाओं के साथ काम करते हैं, हम हर महीने इनके साथ एक बैठक करते हैं और जो ये बच्चियां खुद शिविर से जाती है और कुछ बच्चियां छूट जाती है वो भी इनके साथ आके महीने में एक बार बैठक होती है। उसमें हम हेल्थ के बारे में या लड़का लड़की के भेदभाव में या इनके माहवारी में क्या क्या सावधानियां रखनी चाहिए इनके बारे में हम इनसे चर्चा करते हैं, फिर इनका फॉलोअप भी करते हैं। तो इनमें काफ़ी परिवर्तन मिलता है हमको और ये लड़कियां आगे चल के उन बच्चियों को भी बताती है जो बच्चियां इनके साथ नहीं बैठ रही है और गाँव में भी अपने परिवार में बताती है सारा और ये जानकारी उनको देती है।
बीकानेर में बालिका जन सुनवाई है जिसको कि महिला आयोग, राजस्थान में एक महिला आयोग है जो कि महिलाओं के बारे में सोचता है। तो जितनी भी बालिकाएं हैं वहाँ पे बालिकाओं की समस्याओं के बारे में सुना जाएगा। अब जैसे कुछ समस्याएं तो सबकी एक जैसी होती हैं, जैसे शिक्षा की समस्या है, स्वास्थ्य की समस्या है, तो कुछ उसकी सुनवाई होगी। लेकिन कुछ समस्याएं ऐसी होती हैं कि किसी लड़की की, बालिका की अपनी खुद की समस्या होती है, तो वो समस्या की सुनवाई भी वहाँ पे होगी।
The problem is not that there are no laws. The problem is that law enforcement lacks teeth.
What it is, law is responsive. There are laws about everything. Law doesn't permit violence, law doesn't permit child marriages, law doesn't permit dowry, law doesn't permit bigamy, adultery, whatever. It is not law, but you see the way in which the legal system functions. And if you want redressal of something which you have experienced, that redressal comes, either doesn't come, or it is such a painful process that people don't resort to law, or there are other more powerful vested interests who can circumvent it.
Although the state has provision for free legal aid and counselling, most women feel that legal cells of the counselling centres do not address their needs as they should. There is no gender sensitization in the legal process. Most decisions are made by men, and even the girl child approaches the court for justice, the processes involved are insensitive and humiliating.
Lawyer, why they are not sensitive to these offences? Sensitive से देखो ऐसा है कि हमको उस मुलजिम को कोर्ट में डिफेंड करना है। एक लड़की जिसके साथ बलात्कार हुआ है वो कोर्ट में आती है तो आई हैव टू पुट ऑल द क्वेश्चंस टू डिफेंड माय एक्यूज्ड। मैं अगर वहाँ सेंसिटिव उस लड़की के प्रति हो गया तो आई शैल नॉट बी जस्टिफाइंग माई जॉब, माई प्रोफेशन। उस एक्यूज के साथ मैं जस्टिफिकेशन नहीं कर पाऊँगा, मैं उसको प्रॉपर्ली डिफेंड नहीं कर पाऊँगा। सो आई हैव टू बी इंडिफरेंट इन कोर्ट।
ये आप बात नोट कर लीजिए, गांधी जी आएंगे तो भी वही लगेंगे और मैं लूँगा तो भी मैं। आप बोलते हो 1 रुपए में टाइप होता है, आप हमारे भी दावे टाइप करवा दीजिए।
1 रुपए में कोई नहीं लेता है।
An insensitive and cumbersome process keeps most victims away from the very system that's designed to bring them justice.
लॉ बहुत ये प्रोसीजर मतलब इतना जस्टिस डिले हो जाता है, बहुत ज़्यादा खर्चीला बहुत ज़्यादा है, तो आम आदमी जो है जा नहीं पाता है कोर्ट्स में और मतलब यानी इतना बोर हो जाता है कोर्ट के प्रोसीजर से कि उसको लगता है कि ठीक नहीं है, अब वैसे ही समझौते वगैरह। इसके अतिरिक्त कानून के अलावा हमारे यहाँ जो पंचायत सिस्टम और ये पुराने परंपरागत लॉ जो है सोसाइटी में इतना ज़्यादा अभी भी महत्व रखते हैं कि एनकरेज करते हैं मतलब उस चीज़ को कि भाई लिटिगेशन नहीं होना चाहिए।
That India has some of the most progressive laws safeguarding the rights of the girl child is without doubt. Unfortunately, these laws are a victim of their judicial process, in the same way that the girl child is a victim of age-old superstition and indifference. If the plight of the girl child has to be remedied, we will have to set up more camps and para-training and counselling centres run by women to educate the girl of her rights and assist her in a problem. Appoint a larger number of women law officers, sensitize the police with a larger intake of women to respond to the needs of the girl child, and co-opt committed lawyers into voluntary groups to provide free legal redress to needy girls and women.